Hello, 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 and welcome. So, today I'm going to be reading and discussing the book Why Every Black Woman Should Marry a Jewish Man by Dr. Nazaree Hines-Starr. And I'm going to start reading at chapter 16. This is a pretty long book, so I had to really go look through here to see, where I should start reading. And I actually have the ebook, so that made it a little bit easier. And I'm just double checking because I want to make sure that I didn't switch up her name, because I want to make sure that I said the author's name correctly. So if you just give me 1 second, please. Like I said, this is a long book, and I'm in my ebook, which means that I'm just scrolling here. So if you just bear with me. So let's see. Yes, Nazaree Hines-Starr. That is her name. The book, it looks like it has 2236 pages in the ebook. It could be less pages, of course, if you actually get the print book. I'm not sure. I've had this book for a while. It was kind of expensive too, but I was very curious about what she had to say. It was kind of a comparison for me, but I won't go too much into detail about that. She lists a lot of her dating experiences in the book. Like she has things here like Mr. Know-It-All, Mr. Insensitive, a real life good guy. Then she lists out a lot of the guys' names, and then she goes into detail about what it was like dating them. She talks about Jewish traditions and practice. She talks about what it's like to have a Jewish mother-in-law. She talks about Jewish family values. She really goes into a lot of detail in this book. So if you are interested in reading the book or in learning more about Jewish family values and just more about, Judaism, this would be a good book to read. One thing I will say, though, is that I don't believe in throwing blanket statements on any group of people, because I believe that all groups have their shining stars and their dim lights. So with that said, I'll get into the reading of chapter 16, which is titled, Are You Ready to Meet Prince Charming? Some guys say that they know a lot of mad black women who complain that they can't find a man, and that 90% of these women are not wife material to begin with. Others say that a lot of black women are just too high maintenance, as if they were a car or something. While I disagree with those ideas, I believe that some black women, definitely not 90%, but at least 20%, could use a little polishing. Because what's the point of subjecting yourself to thousands of bad dates if, when you actually meet the man of your dreams, you're not prepared? Are you searching for Mr. Right? What if Mr. Right comes along and you blow it without knowing why? Any reasonable woman would not like to blow it. Perhaps Mr. Right passes you up because you're Miss Wrong, but you seem to think you're Miss Right. It is such a wasted opportunity. If you are single and looking for a partner, you should be willing to prepare yourself. Make use of your time being single and prepare for the next relationship. You should work on getting to know yourself as well as how to handle a partnership. It's also a good idea to polish up on your dating skills and identify what you want out of a relationship. Such skills are necessary in developing a healthy relationship if someone special comes into your life. In dating, it is important to evaluate what type of person you are projecting and if that representation is actually accurate. I have a close friend who has a completely different personality on dates than she has in ordinary social situations. She's very outgoing and sociable in everyday scenarios, but on dates, she comes off as standoffish and a little cold. Remember to be yourself on dates because you do not want to present a fake version of yourself. If you do, it will probably end badly because either Mr. Right will fall in love with the fake version and be disappointed when he finally meets the real you, or he hates the fake version of you but would probably have fallen head over heels in love with the real you. But unfortunately, he never got to meet her. Ladies, in general, you do not want to come off as a pissed off Paula, because what you are projecting to the world is an angry black woman. We have all seen pissed off Paula. You know her. She's always walking around with a frown on her face, just waiting to snap at someone for the tiniest matter. She has a chip on her shoulder every day because she's mad at the world. Remember, being a strong woman does not mean you have to walk around all day with an attitude. In terms of sending signals, most dating coaches say that men need to know that they can be successful with you. Sometimes career women and professionals bring their workplace behavior into the dating arena, and it becomes a real barrier. Men don't know what role they will play in a love affair with these women because they come off as being too assertive. You should not use the same energy you use at work all day and that same white-knuckle grip decorum and apply it to dating. It does not work because you will come off as brash and much too aggressive. That's very true, especially if you are a woman in a leadership role. You do have to put on a different hat in your social life, especially your personal life, when dealing with family, like dealing with, like, if you're married, or like she's saying, dating and your children. I definitely agree with her about that. Okay, I'll continue. One example of an overly contentious professional female is blonde career Barbie. If you thought pissed off Paula was bad, blonde career Barbie is not exactly a hit with men either. We've all met chicks like her. She's the type who brings a resume on her date and expects the man to have his. Her romantic encounters are like business meetings, not dates. She constantly fidgets with her BlackBerry, but gives her date a mean look when he tries to answer his iPhone. Don't mention kids because she complains that they wouldn't fit into her schedule. This blonde has more masculine energy than 10 testosterone-filled men. Typically, she will dominate the conversation and take pleasure in busting men's balls. This kind of harsh exterior demeanor will certainly present problems in the dating world. Blonde career Barbie is not the only career gal having difficulties. Career women who have made their profession numero uno in their lives come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Here are some of the thoughts that often go through the minds of males contemplating dating women of higher status than themselves. One man said, when you are dealing with a woman who has been very successful in her professional life, it raises a whole lot of sensitive issues. Will you take a backseat to her career? What can you do for her that she can't do for herself? Where do you fit in the scheme of things? What will her success say about you as a man? Will it indicate that you are a failure? And finally, is she willing or able to check the "I'm in control, so do what I say" attitude at the office door? In all likelihood, that demeanor made her a star in her career, but it is probably working against her when it comes to dating. This can be a very important topic for liberated and professional women to consider. For Jewish men, determining whether they are better suited for career women depends on whether they are Orthodox, conservative, or Reform. The Orthodox and conservative sects of Judaism are overall more traditional with regard to male and female roles. With that said, in general, Reformed Jewish men are great in dealing with upwardly mobile women. Ladies, we have to remember that there's more to marriage than a diamond ring. If you are dating someone who is actually looking for a wife, he wants to have some idea of what it would be like if he pursued the relationship further. He wants to know if you are the type of woman he would like as a wife. For example, will you be willing to take on the traditional role of wife and mother? For women with high-profile careers who also want to be mothers, it's a good idea to express this, because some men assume that you will not want to be a mother. Men are often intimidated by women who have successful careers, but most of them say that if she's willing to cut back the work hours somewhat and stay at home with the children, that may be a more reasonable arrangement. This is an important point to make because many men immediately think that career gals do not make for great wives and mothers. But Jewish men do respect a woman's professional life. In fact, a successful career woman is often welcomed. We have a good balance in our household. While I am a pharmacist, I am also a mother, so there is delicate balance. My husband works outside the home as well, but he cooks all the time for our family. He loves making sure our family eats healthy meals. As a result, I have no problem picking up after him and cleaning because we work as a team to take care of the household responsibilities. Alternatively, you may not want children, so it is important to discuss this as well. Because you do not want to waste time if your life and marriage goals are completely opposite. Ask yourself, are you willing to keep the action in the bedroom playful, to keep everything fresh? In any relationship, it's important that each partner's needs are expressed and taken seriously. You always want to be creative and think about what will please your partner. It is imperative that you learn to communicate in your relationship so that you can address any issues that might arise. In terms of attraction, quality attracts quality and vice versa. Often, dysfunctional individuals tend to migrate toward other people who are maladjusted as well. This is why it is crucial to make sure you have addressed any personal issues that might have an adverse effect on your dating life. These might include, but are not limited to, painful childhood memories, dysfunctional past relationships, or personality deficiencies. We all have baggage, but the point is to not drag it into the next relationship. If you know you're still feeling hurt, resentful, or angry about a past relationship, seek out professionals who can help you heal. Missing this step creates an energy mismatch and will make it difficult to experience success with external activities such as online dating and singles events. Once you're over the turmoil of the past, you can walk into a relationship as a whole person rather than a shattered being. I'm going to pause here for a moment and just say, ladies, I know some of you, probably many of you, have been out with men who never got over an ex. And you know they haven't gotten over the ex because they won't stop talking about the person. They won't stop talking about her. If you've ever been out with a guy who just couldn't stop talking about his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife, and say maybe it's been a year, I might feel a little sorry for the guy. But there are some guys who will do this and they've been divorced for years. That's a red flag that this person did not take the time to process the breakup, to put away whatever feelings they're having, and just to move on with their life, which translate into they are not emotionally available. So I wouldn't even bother with a guy like that. So let me continue here. In some cases, you may have had a terrible relationship with your father. Any unresolved feelings about that relationship can have a profound effect on your dating life and the choices you make. Some psychologists say that a girl's relationship with her father can influence who she is and who she chooses to love. Girls who grow up without a father's presence in the early years often feel abandoned, hurt, and rejected. As a result, their self-esteem is low, their self-worth is doubtful, and their relationship choices are connected to finding men just like their father to heal the wounds, or finding the extreme opposite to avoid revisiting those bad feelings. If these young women fail to deal with those issues, they become broken women who will make terrible decisions in relationships and dating. If a woman perpetually makes bad choices in men, the root cause can usually be traced to a terrible relationship with her father. As women, we have to learn how to heal these wounds before venturing out into the dating world, because they will most likely affect choices we make in our love life. I agree with that 100%. I think that it's so important for women who maybe didn't grow up with a father, or they have some kind of issue with their father, to work through those issues before they look to marry or get in relationships with men. Because what she's saying is very true, in my opinion. Whether that be through some type of therapy or finding a way to forgive the absent father, I think that that's just so very important. I'll continue. Once you're in a relationship, there are ways to avoid being desperate. If you're attracted to someone and are feeling pressure about how to act and what to do so you don't come across as desperate, ask yourself the following questions. Am I making myself too available? I'm not suggesting you play games, but I am telling you to indulge your passions and resist the urge to abandon your social life every time your new man sends an invitation. So I'm not going to read all of these. She has them broken down into different sections. So maybe I'll just read the question, and then I'll read like the first sentence, because I don't want this video to be too long. So the next one is, do I seem clingy? If you've only been on a few dates, it's not reasonable to expect you're in a relationship. Don't make assumptions and ask probing questions about where he's been and with whom. Am I ignoring other parts of my life, like work or career? If you stop making plans with your friends and family to clear your schedule for your new love interests, or if you've neglected work responsibilities, this may be a sign that you're jumping the gun. Take your time and don't stop enjoying your own life. Remember that you want to appear confident on dates, like someone who has a life but just happens to be single. You don't want to appear as if you're waiting to meet a guy so that your life can begin. Nobody wants to be a part of that. It's too much pressure for anyone to become someone's entire life. Okay, so that's chapter 16. Like I said, this is a pretty long book, so if you are interested in me continuing or reading another chapter, leave me a comment and I'll come back and do that. So I hope you enjoyed the read. Thank you for listening.